Yes, this is the pullback we've all been waiting for. Hey there, Tamir from Fibonacci-Traders.com, your weekly market recap. Like, subscribe, and without any further ado, let's see the chart. Second week in a row where the SPY closes with a lower lows, lower highs, and now we are already 3% from all-time highs. 3 is a Fibonacci number. The next support is the 500, which is almost 5% to the downside. Next is the 480, 8% to the downside. Ladies and gentlemen, it all comes down to Fibonacci numbers wherever you look. In trading especially, everything comes down to Fibonacci. Now, continuing to the downside, as we said, 500 and then 480. Nothing goes up forever. Always prepare for the downside. Always protect your downside. We have the gap over here at the 497 that needs to get filled. This is how it looks on the daily. Closed Friday below the yellow zone at the 409. Then we have the 509, sorry. Then we have the 504. And then we have 497 incoming on the SPY. QQQ. Close the week with an inside doji, inside candle, and we still see that the Qs are just moving sideways. Look at this. The 434 area since end of February, 7 consecutive weeks of sideways move, super tight price action on the Qs on the weekly. 434 is the support, 450 is the resistance, breaking below, and we will see 423 and then 408 to the downside. Dow Jones already 5% from the highs of 399 from March's high, 5% already. At the 380, the yellow zone is holding as support, breaking below, and we will see 373, 368, bearish on all time frames on the Dow. This is how the Dow looks on the daily since the peak of March, every day sliding down. Next is the 373 on the daily and then 366 to the downside. IWM also with a 5% already since the peak of March, now holding at the 198 area. The yellow zone from resistance to support, bearish on the IWM on all time frames. Breaking down and under, we have a sell signal on the weekly on the IWM. There is nothing bullish now on the IWM. This is why we have this small table over here. Breaking below, we will see the 194 and then 189 to the downside. Bitcoin, let's talk about the Bitcoin. First, let's talk about the Bitcoin on the daily. As we can see, Friday's candle, 4.3% to the downside. Now, as we are recording this video, 13 hours still to this daily candle, but struggling to get back inside the yellow zone. Down and under, we will see 63, below 63, take the FTI to the downside, and the FTI will give you all future support for Bitcoin levels. 63,800, 61,400, below the 61,400. This is a very, very important area of support. Look at this. Look left. Very important area of support. We have this triple top scenario on the Bitcoin, breaking below the 61,500, and we will see 52 and 49 to the downside. On the weekly, this is how Bitcoin looks. 5 consecutive weeks struggling, but still holding at the 64,700. 5 consecutive weeks of dojis. 1, 2, 3, 4 dojis out of 5 weeks. Breaking below 59 to this yellow zone. Breaking below this upper border, we will see the lower border of the yellow zone, 50K. Embrace yourself. Always protect the downside. Ethereum on the weekly, every week that goes by, gives us lower highs, lower lows. Sell signal on the Ethereum on the weekly, bearish. Inside the yellow zone, we still have more 1.5 days until this weekly candle is finished. We have the 3,000, below 3,000, 2,700, and then it's all over for Ethereum, back below the 2,000. This is how it looks on the daily. Nothing bullish on Ethereum. Lower highs, lower lows. We can take also trend lines to help us understand that the trend for now is to the downside. Look how the middle trend line also helps us to identify support, resistance area, slowly grinding down on the middle trend line, breaking below it, and we will see. We can take Fibonacci, no need to break our head, swing low, swing high. We have the 28, 26, and then it's all over back to the 21 and 1950. Always prepare for the worst case scenario. It's super easy to prepare for big gains. We need to prepare ourselves to the downside. We need to protect the downside. This is the only thing we have full control of. Protect the losses. Put stop loss. Gold with a doji on the weekly. This is how gold looks on the daily. We had a very volatile Friday, we can call it, from 24.32 to 23.42. This is how the gold looks on the weekly. With a doji like this, after bull run, we can expect some kind of a pullback, 22.66 and then 21.600, or you can just put the FTI. Look at this. FTI gives us everything that we need for future support, resistance area for price action. Below last week's low, we are retesting the 22.53 and then 21.43 dollar index. The DXY, super bullish, 1.66% to the upside in the past week, breaking above it, continuation to the 107, 109, and then we have this multi-bottom scenario above the 107. Most likely we will see 111 and 113 to the upside. Natural gas continued to move sideways between the 150 and the 190 to the upside. Look at this, holding strong above the 150, but bearish on all time frames. We can start taking long. A weekly close above the 193. Crude oil closed the week with a doji, and we know that the doji is the most significant signal with an indecision in the market after this bull run from the 67 low December to the 87.80. Continuation above, we will see 93, and then we have a double multi-bottom scenario on the crude oil above the 93. We will see a run, in my opinion, towards the 113 and the 120. And of course, everything that you see on my videos is for educational purposes only. So everything that I ask, the only thing that I ask is for you just to hit the like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Help me grow this channel together. Apple, 4% to the upside in the past week, but if we zoom in, we can see Thursday, Friday, bullish sentiment on Apple, breaking above the 178, and Apple will see the 185 and then 197. Overall, bulls are hanging above, nicely above the 168. Bullish. These two candles gave us bullish sentiment on the 65, on the 4 hours, on the daily, but on the weekly we are still bearish. Why? Because we are still below the yellow zone. One candle does not change the overall sentiment, and the overall sentiment, the overall trend on Apple for now, since December of 2023, lower highs, lower lows, downtrend on Apple. So one weekly candle does not change the overall sentiment. Let's see, breaking up above and inside this yellow zone, staying above this yellow zone for another week or so, and we will see bullish also on the weekly. And for those who don't know, this is the Fibonacci-Traders Discord. We have trading floor in English, premium day traders. We have swing lounge, we have options room, we have crypto, general chats. Overall, we have some very, very nice moves in the last week. We took longs on Tuesday and Thursday. We took some shorts on Friday. Overall, very, very nice week. This is how it looks. We are focused solely on making money. So check the links in the description below. Join us and you will see almost immediate results. This is the pre-market short we took Friday. This is the longs we took on Thursday. And as you can see, members are making money. AMD continues to struggle and breaking down each day that goes by. This is how AMD looks on the daily. Broke below the 164 area. The 164 area was a very important area of support. Now at the 161, below it we have all these future supports to the downside. This is how AMD looks on the weekly. Always zoom in, zoom out, and as we can see, since March, the peak of March, the 227, AMD just lost already almost 30% to the downside in just 1 month. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 weeks, 1.5 months to the downside. 30% to AMD breaking down and under. We will see 140 and 116 to the downside. Nvidia struggling to hold above the 850, but with a doji on the weekly, 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive dojis holding above the 850. Bulls are giving everything that they have to keep the 850 as support. Breaking below, we will see the 773 and then 650 to the downside. This is how Nvidia looks on the daily chart. Inside the yellow zone, let's see continuation. Can Nvidia bulls break above and stay above the 915, above the yellow zone? Breaking below the yellow zone, we will see once again the 860, 830, and still we have this gap at the 824 still open. Meta on the weekly grinding up slowly, stuck to this uptrend line as a resistance. But as we all know, we have a good resistance. This is a good resistance. Why? Because it helps us identify the higher highs. Now let's see, can Meta hold the market on its shoulder towards the 590 or 666? Breaking below the 480. The 480, very important area of support. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive weeks. The 480 is a very important area of support. Breaking below, we will see this trend line, the middle trend line, together with the 450 area getting retested as support. Tesla, 5 weeks of basically nothing. Between the 160, holding strong support, 183, very tough resistance. Something needs to give before earnings of Tesla. Look at it, we are still inside a very steep downtrend on Tesla. We can identify this downtrend just by drawing trend lines. We have this trend line that helps us identify the lower lows. We have this trend line that helps us to identify the lower highs. And the middle trend line also helps us to identify a smaller, tighter trend. Also from support, look at this. This yellow trend line, since middle of January, acts as resistance. It all comes down to Fibonacci trend lines as your roadmap for future price action. What if Tesla will break below the 160 on the weekly? We will see 130 to the downside. Microsoft on the weekly, super tight price action. 4 consecutive weeks between the 415 and the 430, breaking below the 415, below the 416, meaning Microsoft also broke this uptrend channel and we are heading back to the 404 and 389, breaking above the 430, and we will see continuation towards the 450 and 472. Micro strategy. Look at this. 5 consecutive weeks holding above the yellow zone, above the 1400. Very tight price section when the 1660 acts as resistance, breaking below and inside the yellow zone. We will see back to the 1000, breaking above the 1660. We will see back to the 2000. Micro strategy depends on Bitcoin. Google, super strong. Google, for now, is holding the market alone on its shoulder with a little help with Apple on Thursday and Friday. But overall, Google, very strong uptrend line. Look at this yellow trend line that helps us identify that Google is in a very bullish sentiment since January of 2023. Now the 152, 153 area needs to hold the support. Long continuation, and we will see 170 and 180 to the upside. Like, subscribe, don't forget, more videos coming up during this weekend. So also hit the notification bell. PLTR slowly grinding down and inside the yellow zone. The 2160 now is the support. Below it 2020, below 2020, and the same price action we saw over here, we will see below the yellow zone back to the 1555. Amazon with a weekly doji after this, we can say it's an uptrend. We have since the end of January, every weekly candle gave us higher highs, higher lows. It was an uptrend. Now with a doji, a pullback, in my opinion, and it's only my opinion, is imminent back to the 180, below the 180, 171 on Amazon. SMCI continues its journey inside this downtrend channel, holding above the yellow zone. Sell signal, bearish sentiment on all time frames on SMCI, breaking below the 855. Just follow the trend. This is why we draw trend lines. 743, 630 incoming on SMCI. Last but not least, Netflix. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive weeks, 1 month and a half. Not much of a movement on Netflix. Something needs to give. If bulls will give up, the 597 will not hold, and we will see 565 and then 520 to the downside. If bears will give up, look at this, we have a mixed signals between bearish and bullish. If bears will give up, bulls will take Netflix to 690 and 760 to the upside. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, like, subscribe. Don't forget, more videos coming up during this weekend. So hit the notification bell. Until the next video, enjoy the rest of your weekend.